Good morning. I wanted to share two points with you that I learned yesterday during my fast day from this Dr. Rabbi Twersky. Two pearls of wisdom that I thought might help some of you because it helped me. This Dr. Twersky has helped thousands of students with alcoholic addictions. And he tells, his topic of conversation is, why do people suffer? But two stories that he spoke about, I'm going to try and do in brief, because I don't know how many people want to listen to the whole 45 minutes. So one of the things he tells is that he's having this really lousy day, and he bumps into two past students that he had helped with their addictions. And they said, "How are you, doctor?" And he said, "I told them never to lie, and so I was never going to lie to them. So I wasn't going to say I'm doing well." So he says, "I answered them lousy." They said, "You should come to the AA class tonight." And he goes, "No, I don't need that." Anyway, they parted their ways. And 8 o'clock, he says, those two jokesters knock on my door and say, "Come, we're taking you to the AA meeting." He says, "I don't want to go." And they're like, "Come on." So he goes to the meeting, and he finds out that night that subject was gratitude. He's like, this is just what I need. So the first person gets up. "I'm sober for 3 years, and my life's been wonderful. It turned around." Next person gets up. "My life's been I've been sober for 2 years, and I'm very grateful." And one by one, they all get up and they tell their story. And he says, "I don't know what I'm doing here." And then he says, the last person gets up and says, "I'm sober for 4 years. And I just want you to know that it hasn't been a good 4 years." He says, "I lost my job. And as a result of that, my wife left me and took custody of the kids. And then lastly, they repossessed my car a month ago." He says, "It hasn't been good at all." He says, "But I thought to myself, if God took me this far through everything and I'm still around, he's not going to leave me now." And so that's what this Dr. Twersky said. That's what I needed to hear. If God took me till now, he's not going to leave me. So I really enjoyed that point, and I wanted to share it with you. I'm getting emotional. And just keep that in mind. If God took you this far, he's not going to leave you alone now. And then he says, months go by, and he again is having a lousy day. And so he decides he's going to take himself to the AA meeting that night. And he looks up where there is one close to him, and he attends it. And he's sitting there, and he's listening to everybody tell their stories. He says, "I heard these stories thousands of times." He says, "But you know what? There was one that touched me, and I knew I had to go." He says, this lady gets up, and she says, "I'm a New York Jets fan, and I never miss a game." I think that's the team that she was on. She says, "I never, ever miss a game, no matter what. And one weekend, I had to go somewhere for business. And so I asked my friend if she would tape it, and she said, 'Sure, no problem.' So my friend tapes the event. I go away. I come back, and I want to go pick up the tape. And as she's handing me the tape, she says, 'Oh, by the way, your team won.' So she says, I go home, and I put it in, and I start watching. And she says, 'Oh, my God, it's now halfway through. My team is trailing. They're getting pounced from the other team, 20 points behind.' She says, 'You know what? Normally, I would have been a wreck. I would have been eating. I would have been drinking. I would have just gone crazy. But I knew that I was winning. So I just was able to sit back and enjoy and relax and enjoy the game.' He says, this is what I needed to hear." He says, we're going through life, but just know that you're winning. Even if you're 20 points behind, just know at the end of the game, you're going to win. And with that knowledge, you can enjoy the game. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did. Have a wonderful day. I love you. God bless.